I can't explain what made me slow down that night. I've been driving long enough to trust my instincts, but this was different. It wasn't a sound or a car or a shadow on the road. It was something deeper, something I felt more than saw. And the moment I lifted my foot off the accelerator on that empty stretch of the I-70, I had no idea that simple action would end up saving my life. My name's Clint. Been hauling freight across the states for 26 years now. I've seen the sun rise over Utah's red rock. Storms crush Kansas flat. Ice turn the Rockies into a death trap. I've had engines die in the worst places. Seen wrecks that turned my stomach and survived wind gusts that nearly flipped my trailer sideways. But none of those moments come close to what happened that night outside Grand Junction, Colorado. It was early spring, one of those strange nights where winter and spring haven't decided who's in charge. The sky was clear, but the air had bite. I'd left Denver earlier, pushing west with a load of steel parts, bound for Salina, Utah. No deadline, no rush. Just steady highway and the hum of my Kenworth beneath me. By the time I reached the open stretch before the Utah border, the highway had gone quiet. Too quiet. That's the kind of silence only drivers understand. When the world goes so still it feels like the road is holding its breath. My headlights ran ahead of me, cutting a narrow tunnel of white through the darkness. The yellow lane reflectors flicked by in a rhythm that felt almost hypnotic. CB traffic was dead. No chatter, no warnings, not even a bored driver complaining about scales. Just me, my truck, and the dark. I remember adjusting my seat, taking a sip of coffee, and glancing at the clock glowing on the dash. 2:17 a.m., a time when the world feels half asleep, and when your mind starts filling in the shadows with things that aren't there. That's when it happened. A feeling, sharp, sudden, cold, hit me square in the chest. No sound, no movement on the road, no headlights ahead or behind. Just a thought that didn't feel like mine. Slow down, now. It was so strong that before I even realized it, my foot eased off the gas. My cruise control clicked off. The truck began to decelerate, not hard, not panicked, just enough to drop from 68 down to 60. Then 55. My heart thumped harder. I checked the mirrors. Nothing. I scanned the shoulders. Nothing. I leaned forward, squinting at the road. Still nothing. I remember whispering, "What the hell?" But I didn't speed up. Couldn't. Something deep in my gut kept saying, "Hold steady. Do not accelerate." A minute passed. Maybe two. The silence got heavier, like the night was folding in around my cab. The only sound was the steady breathing of the engine and my own breath growing shallow. Then I noticed something odd. The air smelled different. It wasn't diesel or cold air or the faint metallic scent of the load behind me. It was smoke, burnt rubber, hot metal. 3 smells every trucker recognizes instantly. My hand tightened around the wheel. I leaned forward as far as my seatbelt would let me. The next curve in the highway came up gently, bending right. My headlights swept around, and that's when I saw it. A semi jackknifed across both lanes, completely sideways, no lights. No hazards. Just a massive black silhouette blocking the entire highway, invisible until the very last second. My stomach free fell. If I'd been going 68, the speed I'd been running for hours, I would have had no time to brake. None. I would have plowed straight into that trailer at full speed. No chance to swerve, no space to stop. I would have died right there on the I-70 in the middle of the night without even understanding why. But because I slowed down, for no reason I can explain, I had just enough distance. I hit the brakes hard, tires screaming against the pavement. The trailer shook behind me like it wanted to roll. The whole truck shuddered, fighting physics with everything it had. The smell of burning rubber filled the cab. The steering wheel vibrated so violently I thought it'd tear out of my hands. I came to a dead stop, maybe 15 feet from the jackknife trailer. I sat there stunned, hands trembling, heart slamming inside my chest. The engine groaned, the turbo hissed, and the heat of vents blew warm air against my face, but none of that registered. All I could think was, I should be dead right now. Then something else hit me. Another question, a darker one. Why weren't the trailer's lights on? Why wasn't the driver outside? Why was the cab so dark? I turned on my hazards, grabbed my reflective vest, and climbed down into the cold. The wind slapped me across the face, sharp and metallic. My boots crunched over debris as I approached the wreck. "Hello," I called out. No answer. I shined my flashlight on the cab. The front end was smashed hard into the guardrail like the truck had slid out of control. The driver's door was slightly open, rocking gently in the wind. "Driver, you okay?" Still nothing. I stepped closer. My beam cut through the cab's darkness. Empty. No blood. No body. No sign of anyone. Just a thermos lying on its side. Hot coffee, still steaming from the mouthpiece. That meant the crash happened minutes ago. Minutes. I scanned the area with my flashlight. Snow patches, gravel, tracks leading off the shoulder and disappearing into the dark, as if someone had wandered away or been taken. The air felt heavier suddenly, thick, like the night itself was pressing against my skin. My radio crackled, not with a voice, not with CB chatter, with a single sharp burst of static, like a whisper cut off mid-sentence. Then silence again. I stood there listening, heart pounding. Something in the dark around me felt wrong. Not dangerous, not violent, just watching. I backed up slowly, keeping the flashlight high. My breath fogged in the air. The wind whistled through the torn metal of the trailer, making a low, hollow sound that almost resembled a moan. When I reached my truck, I climbed inside and locked the door immediately. My hands were still shaking when I grabbed my phone to call 911. It took the state troopers almost an hour to reach us. They swept the area, found the driver maybe half a mile away, dazed, frostbitten, staring blankly into space. When they brought him back, he kept mumbling something about headlights, about someone standing in the road, about feeling forced to yank the wheel at the last second. But there were no footprints where he claimed he'd seen someone. No sign of anyone. No tracks. No witnesses. Nothing. While the troopers worked, one pulled me aside. "You're lucky you slowed down," he said. "Most drivers don't walk away from something like this." I wanted to tell him I didn't choose to slow down. Something chose for me. But how do you explain a feeling? How do you explain something that isn't a sound or a sight, but a pull, a whisper inside your bones? You don't. You just accept it. I climbed back into my cab as dawn broke over the horizon. Pale orange light washed over the wrecked truck, the troopers, the debris. The world looked normal again, but I didn't feel normal. I still don't. Because I know something guided me that night. Something I can't name. Something that pushed me to slow down when nothing else could have warned me. And every time I drive that stretch of the I-70 now, I get that same strange chill in my chest. Not fear, not danger, just a reminder. Whatever saved me that night is still out there, still watching, still waiting for the next time someone needs to slow down for no reason.